exercise, this is not for the first time, this is for later on, is VOR viewing times 1, or times 2. So times 1 is one thing is moving, your head. Your eyes are stable, your target's stable, looks like this, Times 2, I pretty much use a thumb for this one, or I'll hold the X target and do it. Your head and your target is moving. So I don't use a metronome for this, that's too confusing. You're doing that. You're doing that. If you're doing this exercise, you're probably about to be discharged. You're like, that's pretty advanced, you know, because there is, basically you're trying to build people's threshold until they are, here's what it takes to get dizzy, and everything they're doing in their life is not hitting that threshold. So some people rehab a lot quicker, like old people that are just kind of sedentary, like rehab pretty quick because they don't have that demanding of a life. So once they can get their function moderate, like they're like, oh yeah, I've been doing everything I normally do for 2 weeks, going for my walks, doing my housework, and I'm not dizzy at all. You're done. Somebody who's like a tournament level, like tennis player, or like I had a college basketball player, like that person's gonna have to do a lot more to live their normal life and not hit that threshold. So it's a little bit different for everyone. You can do it closer, farther. For VOR times 1, I don't typically use that as a variable, but it is an option. The target should be in focus. We don't have a vestibular practical next time. That's the following lab after that. That's our very last lab that we'll have. For the practical, it's going to be 2 cases. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be 2 cases. One of them is a case that sounds more like a BPPV case, and one of them is a case that sounds more like a hypofunction case. And you would then tell me which one you think it is based on what the case says, and then do an exam for that. So based on the lab and the exam we did earlier, what do you think is the test if you think it's a hypofunction that we practiced here?
The head, turn one,
Yep.
slow VOR.
Yeah. So saccad's still important to test, but in terms of just straight, what will diagnose you with a hypofunction? The only one we practiced this morning is a head thrust test. Yeah. There's other things like the holding nystagmus, and that gives you more clues, kind of like that gentleman in the video. It's like, all right, he had beating. I think I'm about to see a positive on this other side. But like the true diagnostic is the head thrust test. So good clue to get good at that test, because that's going to be pretty much like half the people doing that. Because we're not going to make you bust out goggles and things that we didn't even practice today. So, and then the other people do BPPV stuff. But for that same hypofunction case, then I'll ask you to perform a treatment to treat their issues. So you would then instruct the patient on how to do this, how to progress it, get them going at a good level that's appropriate for their appropriate symptoms, and then tell them what to work on at home and how much of it to do. It is a very wordy part of the practical where people can get a little bit off. So I'll demonstrate for you guys of what that would look like. Oh yeah, sitting, if they're really super dizzy and maybe older, frail, like you start sitting down versus standing up is more. I try to start people standing because that just puts them a few notches ahead right off the bat if they can tolerate it, but if they can't, they're doing this exercise in a sitting position as well. All right.